how can we aggregate all of the above trends to give a sense of how grave the risk of war is overall? How worried we should be?
So it's sort of a mixed answer.
Hmm.
Like I said, interstate war initiation has gotten far less common since the end of the Cold War, which is great news. And if you're from the perspective of like making the world a better place, we need to understand that better.
Hmm.
This is basically the whole reason that I formed a research lab. So we're doing things like coming up with measures of order and figuring out the logic of the relationship between order and war, and how it is that tensions between domestic political order and international order play out. And we're even looking at Chinese understandings of international order to see what kind of traction we can get on that. So I think one takeaway is we do sometimes see a big drop in the rate of conflict initiation that I absolutely believe in,
Okay.
and we need to understand what happened there. A second takeaway is that the lethality of war, like I said, no matter what I threw at it, just stubbornly refused
Hmm.
to give me the answer that war is increasing or decreasing. People think that if a war starts now, it's less likely to escalate into an incredibly bloody conflagration than it was in 1939 or
Yeah.
1913, and there's no evidence to support that conclusion. The final thing I'd say is that wars are so incredibly escalatory that we should really be worried about them. And the analogy that I use is it's sort of like if you imagine I have a deck of cards, right? 96 cards. And the most
Hmm.
common card has 1,000 battle deaths. But one of those
Hmm.
cards is World War One, and one of those cards is World War Two. How worried should you be about drawing a card from that deck, right? You could say, well, most of them are 1,000 battle deaths, so I shouldn't be too worried, right? But at the same time,
Yeah.
World War One and World War Two are in there. And if the deck hasn't changed, we really need to be thoughtful about when it is we're going to draw another card.